figure out if they're real or
how did Universal Studios
that cyanocobalamine stuff is the fake.
Bro, that's a true airbender. That's a true airbender. You tell me that's not a true airbender. What the heck? What the heck is going on here? Have you guys ever seen that crazy video where there's like this little girl in the woods that's just flying like a kite? Her physical body is actually levitating like a kite, and it's just like wild. And then the camera pans to her, and then the two people run away from the woods. That's what this kind of feels like. Yo, someone's figured it out. They're like, let me take my inner chakras, and then boom, levitate. David Blaine, you need to learn how to. Chris Angel, learn the real way. Learn the real way. Actually, this could be edited too. I looked at the background and the trees didn't really move. No birds into there. The clouds barely moved. I'm like, I don't know. But he did the jump rope thing. You saw that? The jump ropes.
Yeah, let's go to the mountain.
Look at these photographs. Why are all these doors and windows submerged underground? They've been hiding the true answer to this question from us. In the 19th century, strange events were reported worldwide. Cities were dug out from layers of mud and debris, revealing buildings buried up to their rooftops. It was a global cataclysmic event that buried entire civilizations in mud, erasing them from history. But here is where it gets rather unsettling. The Tartarian Empire, often depicted in old maps, was an advanced civilization that existed across Europe and Asia. They built architectural marvels, had access to advanced technology, and were able to harness energy from the atmos. Many say the mud flood was a deliberate attempt to wipe out Tartaria from history, hiding their advanced technology and knowledge. But it gets even darker. Look at the World's Fairs of the late 1800s and early 1900s. These elaborate buildings resembling ancient architecture were supposedly built in just a few years. After the fairs, they were supposedly demolished. Was this to erase evidence of an advanced pre-existing civilization? The Chicago World Fair in 1893, the Paris Exposition in 1900, and the St. Louis World Fair in 1904 all showcased magnificent buildings with intricate designs. Officially, they were apparently built with plaster and wood. Do these look like temporary structures to you? The sudden disappearance of these architectural marvels raises the question. Were they remnants of the Tartarian Empire, conveniently disguised as temporary exhibits that were destroyed to hide their true origins?
I guess I've never heard of the mud flood theory. It definitely feels interesting. I do know that the Tartaria was rewritten or hidden. You know, that seems interesting. I'm also under the impression that potentially they did have access to the ether or some type of 0-point energy or something. Oh, you know what's crazy? Some other crazy theory I recently heard out in the comments from the goons, where a guy was like, yo, the way that the buildings were moved for the world fairs, they were like Legos, and the blimps would move them, and that's how they would like reconstruct them and make them so quickly. And I think about that more and more, and I'm like, dude, I can kind of see like the Legos. You know how Legos are. Take a little few Legos off, move them, Lego them back, you know, build them back together. It kind of makes sense.
1945, they used limestone to extract uranium to make a bomb that blows up. And they got hydrofluoric acid left over. And they have gypsum left over, and they have phosphate left over. Well, what did they do with the gypsum and the phosphate? Well, they told the farmers the phosphate was good for the plants. So now we have great big tomatoes that taste like wood because it makes the plant thirsty and it sucks up more water. So you have watery tomatoes that are tasteless. What do we do with this plaster of Paris, the gypsum? What are we going to do with that? Oh, let's put either side of it and build houses out of it. Oh, that's good. We can do that. It used to be they had radioactive plaster for a while, and then they got a little static for that, and so they take the radioactivity out of it. They don't take it out of the water treatment chemicals because, oh, it's so little. It's below our detectable level. Well, I don't care if you can find it. It's in there. I saw you throw it in there. So they're throwing in there enough arsenic to cause another cancer every 15,000 people. Have we had a tremendous increase in cancer since 1945? So is that because of the arsenic in the fluoridation chemical or the fluoride? I don't know. I don't care. I want water in my water. Just leave your chemicals out.
I like that. I want water in my water. I want water in my water. Oh, boy, buddy, that's never going to happen. Even the craziest filtration system, there's forever chemicals. We already messed it up. I mean, unless we somehow derive a different state of water and remove different particles and then somehow isolate it just to water molecules, then yeah, then I guess that would, but how expensive would that water be? Just give me the Mountain Valley. Oh, boy. I mean, the byproducts make sense. That's kind of how fluoride was put into our water as well. They're like, hey, we don't have a use for this and we don't want to dump it. Let's just tell them it's good for them in the water and helps do all this. Yeah, look at the studies. We didn't pay them to tell you what we want them to say. We just paid them to do the study. Wait, what was so creepy about the last one? I don't understand. Dude, what was the one in the middle where the guy was like, in there? And then how did this guy get sucked in? What causes like a vacuum like that? That's horrible. What kind of craziness is that? Is that water pressure? What causes that? Oh my God. This is wild. Dude, how was there a guy in there? I feel like I've seen this. Is this like some type of like famous rescue? I feel like this is something famous. Somebody got saved and I mean, that guy looks pissed. Like when they're like, it took you this long. I'm like, bro, look how much they had to do. They dug out the entire earth to come get you out, bro. Why were you in? Look at this guy. Ready? Watch this. Ready? Look at him. Does that look like a face of a happy man? I'm like, nah. But you put yourself in that situation. You better be freaking like firefighters. Here you go. Hopefully everything's okay. Oh boy. I'm hearing that the last one is. What? So is this, I mean, like, what? Is this a UAP? Is this us testing? What is going on? Why was there no sound when this UAP was moving? Why was there no sound? Watch. This thing goes. Any sound? what is that? Wait, what was the bike? I kind of want to look at the bike. Show me the bike. All right, yeah, this thing's a blob, round circle. Appears to be 3D in some way, shape, or form. All right, what kind of bike? Almost looks like a Gixxer. That build. I don't know, maybe Yamaha? No, it looks more like a Gixxer. Wait, show me the bike. Wait, I'm getting ADHD. ADHD. That is not the purpose of the video.
We're going to look at a couple pictures. We're going to try to figure out if they're real or if they're CGI. Exhibit A, source unknown. So you can see a little light in the sky, and then look right here. It looks like a little eclipse action that's happening, huh? So I'm guessing this is supposed to be Jupiter and a picture of what's probably a moon casting the shadow onto Jupiter. You know, why can't they get a picture of the flag on the moon, man? Man, I really hope I get to see this right here one day in person, man. I mean, just look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. Harmonic resonance. Look up there at the top up there. That guy's got like a little, looks like he's shooting sound waves or something. And then look at the Google patent. Huh. I'm not sure what that even is. I don't know what this is. I have no idea, but maybe we can look it up and see what it is. Check out the inside of the cells of a tree, man. Look, you see the hexagonal shapes? Hexagons. Remember that? Hexagons. And they say, oh, that's basalt columns, yada, yada, you know, lava, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Look at the rings on the inside of this mountain. You tell me what that looks like. I mean, realistically, what does that look like?
I mean, the right answer is tree, but unfortunately, I'm going plugged up volcano that has eroded over time because I'm feeling that is the geologist explanation. I'm going with the scientific explanation and the reality, but Crazy Teddy's going with tree. Interesting. I mean, it could be tree. You don't know how tall that tree was. They could have chopped it down early. We've seen bigger trees than that. Oh boy. Lot of information to take in. That harmonic thing definitely resonated with me. I keep looking up. I keep exploring outside because Kyra always wants to go outside. There is not a single day that I do not go outside. Rain, sun, don't matter. If Kyra goes outside, that's it. She's going right into her being age 2, and I guess this is where the tantrums come in. And I will tell you, if we do not go outside, the tantrum goes hard. She literally just like lays down on the floor and just stands. And when I look outside at the clouds, like I'm doing, I'm like, I just want to see if I ever visually see a UAP of my own. And every time they're always planes, unfortunately. But one day maybe I'll experience it, or maybe I don't want to experience. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be looking up, actually. But I do see the harmonic, cloud things where they appear to be ripples. I wonder if that can be explained by meteorologists, or why those ripples appear in the clouds, or if it's truly like a HARP type device that's causing those ripples. And then we know cloud seeding exists, so who knows?
Want to know why you're fucking tired? Because everyone is trying to pretend that everything that is happening in life right now is normal. It's not normal. It is not nearly the same way as it was 20 years ago, but we're trying to act like people aren't fucking depressed, mentally ill. It's a spiritual war. I have no reason to feel the way that I do, but I feel so heavy. And you want to know why you feel so heavy? Because you're feeling the pain of the collective consciousness, because we're all connected. And there are so many individuals who are suffering right now, because let's stop pretending that money has value. Let's stop pretending that you can go get healthy by going to the doctor's office. If I feel some type of way, I don't even want to go to the doctor's office because I don't trust them, because they're going to sell me fucking pills. Let's stop pretending like any of this is normal. You are trying to live a normal life, and you cannot, because it is not normal. So if you think I'm insane for talking about a huge consciousness shift, for talking about vibrational changes in the energy of our planet, you can. But I'm not fucking crazy, because there is no reason for us to be so tired and feel so heavy towards life. It makes no sense. You're not crazy. Something's happening. Okay?
I don't wake up tired every day, but I do know some people do wake up tired. And I'm like, yo, get some more magnesium and B12. I'm telling you, those are the things. You can just do them in vitamin form. Regardless, this lady is maybe someone attacked her or something. You're not crazy, lady. You're not crazy at all. There are many things happening. Whether fiat currency has monetary value or not is up to you. There's no camera there, but I keep looking. I'm sorry. Bro, what is that? Was that like a battery or something? Yo, was this faked? Was this placed? I mean, that stone looked very hollow, and the thing could have been placed. And then even how did he know to look there? Was he using a metal detector? Do you think that thing shows up in a metal detector? I don't know. I don't know what to think. What did I just witness? Was that a sacrificial urn? Was that some I don't know. Were you supposed to? Did you just let the lithium out? Oh boy. Oh boy.
The giants. Now, these are theories, but not an exact science. Could have this been the inside of a digestive system of a giant? Now, as you can see the diagram that I did bring up, and you can see the circular folds, and you can also see how identical they look. Now, could have this been the entrance of the large intestine as shown in the diagram up above? Now, if you look at the diagram of the large intestine up above, and to your left, you see the cave wall, you can see the identical similarities to both of them. Now, could this cave just have been a digestive tract of a giant? Now, according to research, these so-called rocks have a composition of venous blood, which is a purple blood and has composition of iron. And on the back side of this rock, you can see the uncanny flesh look to this rock. Now, take a look at this trabecular bone and compare it to this. Now, you can see the similarities to the trabecular bone. Now, you can see a good example of this Swiss cheese-looking trabecular bone. And in the channels, you can see the red iron ore. And you might think this is just earth packed in from flooding. But if you look at this larger example, you can see that this is not earth. This is actual iron ore coming out of this trabecular bone. Now, could this be here, the fragments of giants scattered all over? Now, as we get closer, you can see the different tissue of the surface of these so-called rocks. Now, again, here I've added more examples of tissues just to show the different similarities to these so-called rocks. Now, this rock has the uncanny look of a lung, and if you look closely, you can see all the ventricles that would be visible in a lung. Now, here is a diagram up above like that. You can see the different type of ventricles. Now, just by looking at the lung diagrams and looking at the so-called stone, you tell me there's not a possibility this can be true. Now, like I said before, this is all theory, but after seeing this video, you'll probably never look at a rock the same. But could there be some truth in this theory?
Bro, what the heck? That first part did look like a esophagus or thing. Was that a cave diver? Why does that look like that? Oh my god. I mean, I've seen what is that? Stalagmites? What are the things that takes hundreds of years to even grow 1 inch? And then oh my god, this is over hundreds of years for them to be this big. I don't know. They're the cave things. I've seen many caves and they're always there. Now I'm all the caves are giants stomachs, and then some caves, yeah, they kind of. But then some caves are really long. Not all caves, maybe all caves. Oh my god, it's all one big earth, Hey,
did y'all see the deal going on with the great value corn right here? And the new warning label they put on it right here? Look at that. What does that tell you? Read that right there. Now you tell me what you think about that. Then this situation with the B12 that I showed y'all the other day right here. Y'all know what's in it too, right? This stuff right here. Then here's what some of the people had to say about it, what it was. Look right here. This is how they make this stuff. That cyanocobalamin stuff is the fake B12. You want to get your B12 from real stuff, man. Like this right here. Okay? Y'all have a good one. Here's another trend I've been seeing. Look at this right here. It contains bioengineered food ingredients. Bioengineered. I know that a lot of stuff we've been consuming for a while is bioengineered, yada, yada, yada. But y'all really try to think about these things right here, man. That's about how good that is right there. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, seriously, just we need to all check what we eat and all that good stuff and just really pay attention. There's not everything's bad. I get it. But a lot of things, in my personal opinion, I don't think they're good.
Yeah, I mean, that's your own opinion. I've done B12. Definitely do your B12 sources are legitimate and natural. It's on you. But I do notice a difference on B12 versus not B12, but I was actually B12 deficient, so I had blood work done, and they were like, "Buddy, you got to bump up your B12 and your D3s." I'm like, "All right, I understand." And then magnesium, I'm just doing for fun, and I'm telling you, magnesium real good too. Magnesium real good too. Hey, it's natural. It's natural. It's natural. Bioengineered foods, yes, bioengineered is a thing. I mean, as is GMOs, they're just calling them bioengineered. Nothing too crazy there.
You want to tell me how in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world when the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA? Almost 40 years later, how did Universal Studios know that this is what the world looked like, especially from space when we hadn't been to space yet? Does anyone know? Anyone want to guess?
The reason for lying about the shape of the earth and making it into a ball is because when you turn it into a ball, you can cut off any land you want and keep it hidden. For example, we will take this map, we will cut out a piece, and we will take this flat piece and wrap it around a ball. Now, this is where I tell you that this is all there is. You can only go to destinations that are on the globe because you now believe that's all there is. But
I mean, there was maps that were charted prior to us doing space travel, and scientists had said that they came together and they were like, "Yep, the Earth is round." So Universal took the maps and around to ball, and just like the guy overlaid the chart over the ball. I mean, that makes sense to me, right? That's how Universal had the picture of the Earth before the picture of the Earth was given. I mean, at the same time, NASA's been lying for quite some time. It's whether you believe the moon landings or not, so that's a whole different debate on its own. But yeah, this can be explained. The second video, yeah, that's a very easy way to hide, hey, the land masses, if that's how they depict it. That definitely seems like a true thing as well.
And that's where the pyramids in the Grand Canyon come from. And the Grand Canyon was a result of cutting bricks for pyramids. All you have to do is go on Google Maps and look at the names surrounding these areas. Valley of the Gods, for example. Valley of the Gods, why would they call it Valley of the Gods? Because it's a valley created by the gods, the Anunnaki. And even though the Anunnaki might not be good, back then we still praise them as gods, because they were above us. They were angelic type beings. Yes, the canyons are huge, and that's because they created so many pyramids. Even more proof is the discovery of ancient caverns and Egyptian relics within the Grand Canyon. Take a look at the pictures behind me of the pyramids in Mexico. Yes, they look like they're mudded up stone, but I believe that stone is it has to be covering massive bricks to make the original structure. And this goes throughout all the pyramids there. And I believe that this has been ignored and never been shown to the population through history, simply because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put it together. It's common sense. Look at it. Those were cut for pyramids. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, whether you're...
Oh my God, the Grand Canyon? I mean, the Grand Canyon also has depictions of ancient Egypt in there that has been found and sealed off, I believe, as well, where there's been hieroglyphs found. So it could be. We didn't understand their tech, and they could have just seen it as a valley. Oh my God. And even the way it is, it does look like, it could be natural erosion, but then, yeah, the water. Yo, this guy's hitting on some points. I'm starting to think that the mind's churning.
You know, Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind. Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with like electromagnetic sensors. And do you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a like brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture?
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. What they said said, I was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor. And they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And so
Are these in the current headphones? You may be testing stuff. Who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years ago.
Yeah, weird. Come on, Steve.
But you know how they updated the iPhone 15 in France with a software update so it wasn't spitting out radiation?
Oh,
They
yeah.
probably can do the same thing with all of their.
Think about the iPhone, like the heartbeat sensor and all that stuff. Not the iPhone, the watch.
Yeah.
Stuff they're taking out. Like this could be a behind the scenes. Like they're like, we don't like what you're doing with the tech, so we're trying to shut you down.
This is crazy. This reminds me of a game that I played, and I'm trying to see if the game has actually changed in this universe without doxing my details, but I believe I would dox my details, so I can't show it to you. There is a game that I played that's like Harry Potter driven that would have a ball that would move through a maze, and like you would put a thing and they would have levitation controls, and the way that it was used is like you'd have to think about it and then the ball would go higher or lower, and that's kind of what I'm feeling it was doing back then when I played that game. But now the game is completely different in this timeline, and in this timeline the levitation controls are on the game, which is not how I remember it at all. Mandela effect, bro. Mandela effect indeed. I've even had a Virtual Boy before virtuals were even out, and that actually still exists in our timeline. That's nice to know. Yeah, this is definitely interesting. Electromagnetic sensors is a thing. Can it map it out? Absolutely. It's always feeding back to the cell phone, so it makes 100% sense that it can be done.
I can't even right now. So we have a shapeshifter at work, and we're all kind of freaked out, and I don't know what to do about it. Let me tell you how I know it's a shapeshifter. So a couple days ago, I was taking out the trash with my coworker, and I was standing next to her by the door. So she was on my right side by the door, and our shoulders were touching, and we're looking out to see if the bins are full. And we work like right next to a Goodwill, so there was a bunch of nice furniture out by our dumpsters, and we were like, let's go check it out. But next thing I know, she opens the door and walks back into the building, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I follow her in, and I go and close all the doors. So through the outside, it's locked and nobody can get in. And so once I get to the second door, I started to think, I was like, wow, normally she like waits for me in this part of the room. Maybe she's going to scare me. So I go to the second door and I peek in, and then nobody's there. And then all of a sudden I hear on the walkie, Amanda, why did you lock me out? And I'm like, what? And so I go back outside and I see my coworker like far along where this ramp is. She's like towards the middle of the ramp. And I'm looking at her like, how did you get over there? And she's like, Amanda, I've been here the entire time. I was wondering why you just left me here. And I'm like, you mean? You were just right here next to me and you walked right into the building, so I just followed you. And she's like, Amanda, that wasn't me. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like trying to think of what the heck just happened. I was like, did I follow a ghost? Was there a glitch in the matrix? Did I like shift realities for a second? Like I was completely confused. And then not too long after that, my coworker, one of my other coworkers was in the back, and he was all by himself, and he heard a woman say hello. And when he turned around and said yes, there was nobody there. And he was like all freaked out, and he told me about it because I told him what happened when we were back there. And then I come in today and talked to my other coworker, and she's like, dude, that spirit or whatever is still here because it was pretending to be coworker she opened with. She was like, I saw him standing outside of the front door staring at all the cars. And then next thing, like I know, like a second later, I like turn and I see him coming up from the back, like hallway. And she looked back at what she thought he was standing at, and he disappeared and he was coming up. Like the real him was coming up. And she's like, were you just outside? And he's like, no, I was in the back. So this thing is a freaking shapeshifter. I know it. Like, this is not just a normal ghost. And I don't know what to do. It keeps pretending to be us. So now I'm just waiting until I actually fully become face to face with the thing. Because I was next to it. I saw the back of it and it looked like my coworker. But I haven't seen this thing face to face and I'm freaked out. Like, what do I do? And the thing is, it knows I'm onto it. So this is going to be interesting. Pray for me. Let's hope I don't get hurt.
That sounds like a mimic to me. There was an update in the comments. I watched it. And she did mention that now most of the things are happening to her one coworker. And she said that she thinks that maybe this thing is attached to that coworker. And I have to agree with her. She did say they both have a lot of protection on them and they're not really worried about it. And she also mentioned that there's like a portal in her building, which is interesting. Yeah, so in my completely non-professional opinion, sounds like a mimic to me. Also sounds like it's probably attached to the other coworker. Crazy stuff, man. What do you think?
Yo, I had to look up what a mimic was because, like, the mimic I know is from Dungeons and Dragons, where like mimics turn into different like shapes or inanimate objects. That's what I think a mimic is. But this one seems like it's a demon or some type of supernatural entity that is able to harness or manifest into this reality in some way, shape, or form with the energy that's present at her workplace, I guess. And it's definitely attached to one of the workers and potentially... Yo, why is she trying to see it face to face? You need to arm yourselves with proper material. You know, you may need... Is this a filter? Regardless, so ADHD. Regardless. Yeah, there's things happening at her thing. She could definitely have a shapeshifter. I'm feeling paranormal activity could be a thing that she's experiencing, but what she needs is like blessings and priests and like something that's not trying to see it face to face. I would figure out how to arm yourself for supernatural stuff and not try to see it. That is it. I'm out of here. Stay safe, stay strong, and most importantly, stay safe, stay home. Stay home, stay safe. Stay home, stay safe. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything you don't need to be doing. Don't mess with anything you don't need to be messing with. Do good things. Do positive things. Think positive things. Positive things will happen to you. I'm sending all goons positive energy right now. I hope you guys can feel it. It is true positive energy and high frequency energy. Do good things. Have fun. Smoke that like button. Do all the things. Goodbye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.